what's up guys, it's Acapella here. We're doing a VOD review today with a 1700 SR Lucio from console, I believe it's Xbox. He hit me up on Reddit after one of my posts asking to have a look at his gameplay. He said he's played a decent amount, but he's still just kind of stuck in the CVO. So we'll kind of see what's going on here. Like I said, it is console, so things are going to seem a little bit weird. As opposed to PC. So yeah, we'll get things going here. Okay.
Let's get you healed up.
Okay. Alright, so right off the bat, your positioning is just all over the place. We'll go back a little bit here. So we see that their team is coming from over here because of the Junkrat mines. So you know there's at least one or two people over here, right? Because only the Tracer and Lucio were the ones on point. So, you know, there's 4 other people who haven't been to point yet. And you're just kind of chilling in the middle of the point here, right? You know, this Junkrat easily could punish you with a one-shot. Ana could sleep you. Sigma, when he gets here, could rock you. So looks like we just need to be a little bit more, have a little bit more spatial awareness, like what's going on. So, push towards the D.Va. Now we see that the 3 people are over there. Okay, nice little kill on the Tracer. Nothing heals because your team's taking damage, it's fine. Okay. You instantly get punished, right? I know on console it's a little bit harder to control yourself, right? That's speaking as someone who came from Xbox before I came to PC. It is a little bit harder to control where you go, especially as Lucio. But your team's over here on point. Why are you engaging 3 people, right? There's no reason to be running up into them like that, regardless of what character you are, really, right? Oh, I don't want to go that far. Right. Your tanks aren't here, so let's see. So you see your Rhines back here low, and your Hog's there, right? And immediately you're past your Hog already, right? And you see a Sigma, a Junkrat, and we know that the Ana is there because we saw her when we were on the left here. And immediately you just run into them trying to do damage. So that's one of the more extreme cases where you'll get punished for positioning. But a lot of the times players won't realize what they're doing is wrong because they don't get punished for it, right? Because like obviously you know what you did is wrong because you died. But there are other times where you're just kind of chilling in random places and you don't get punished for it, so like you're like, oh, this is fine, standing here. So just get out. Okay. And I don't know specifically what your button maps are for Lucio. But I can say for controller you need to change jump. Unless you have unless your button maps are already changed, or unless you have like an elite controller or something, or like a scuff, if you know what that is, where you have like buttons on the bottom. But basically, if we look what happens here, so you're trying to wall right away, and you're trying to fight her here, right? But like you can't wall ride and look around and shoot at the same time, which is a big issue for a lot of console players when they're first starting, is especially in Lucio, because Lucio is a very complicated character when it comes to the wall riding. So what a lot of Lucio players did, like back when I played, was if they didn't have a special controller with different buttons, they would put wall riding to either like left trigger or right trigger. Yeah, so they would put it to either left trigger or right trigger, just something else, so that they can, you know, simultaneously wall ride while also shooting, right? Because this D.Va gets way too close to you, right? And if this is a PC player, they can, you know, turn around and boop them while wall riding away, right? So yeah, so figuring out those button maps will allow you to get better at, you know, being able to do both things at the same time. Oh, you have jump on left trigger. Okay, sure. All right. Well, in that case, try and at least practice it then a little bit more. You know, wall riding while shooting, even just booping. You don't even need to shoot, because it's such an integral part of his kit, and a lot of people just don't make use of it. You know, at the same time, they'll either be shooting on the ground, and then it's like, okay, now it's time to wall ride, and then they'll just kind of wall ride for a little while without really doing anything. So getting good at kind of doing the same thing, or sorry, doing them at the same time will help increase your, like, I'm trying to think of the word, increase your productiveness, I guess. It's like you'll be doing damage while also moving to the, you know, certain places that you want to be. Because like your mechanics seem pretty solid, but it's just a matter of, you know, practicing and getting better at having that, you know, the capability to do both at the same time. Over here, overextending again. That's the big trend that I'm seeing so far. Is you're getting aggressive, and it may be because of the rank that you're in, because you don't get punished for it a lot. That is a fairly low rank. So like, you know, if you push like this Sigma may not hit this rock, right? You know, he has a rock ready for you, and he may not hit it and you won't get punished. So you think, oh, this is okay, I can just 1v1 this Sigma. Right? He misses rock, obviously. And you're able to just kind of toy with him. But as you get higher level, this doesn't work. Right? This kind of stuff just ends up making you feed, as we saw earlier, with the Junkrat instantly killing you when you ran into their team. Like, you may not get punished for it all the time, but this stuff will get you killed so often as you get like higher and higher elos. So yeah, like, look at where your team's at. You know, why are you doing this Sigma when you can be back there protecting them? Because there was an Ashe over here, and there's a Junkrat up top, right? Because this Sigma doesn't matter. He's not on point. You know, point is the thing that matters here, not getting this kill in this Sigma. So keep it going. He gets the health back anyway. See, back off. That's good. At least he didn't stick around. Just ran into the trap. That's kind of unfortunate. That's not really a mistake thing. Just it's kind of hard to see sometimes. So come back. Yeah. If you're going for a stall like that, just try and get on point. If you don't, immediately just run away. Which you do. This is good. Okay. Yeah, wall riding mechanics are actually pretty good, but you just have to get better at, you know, being able to shoot and shoot, aim, and wall ride all at the same time. It's a lot, I know, but that comes with improving at the game. You get better at doing things. Chasing the Deagle here, running away from the Tracer. And we've stabilized her. So we have beat right now. Wait, do they have a lever? I think they had someone leave. Oh, okay. Well, for their team, look at what they have. Think in your mind, okay, what am I going to use beat for? Right, it's going to be the Sigma ult, right? Junkrat ult, you can get killed out of beat if you're not careful. So generally, it's just better to. And if the Junkrat's good, he'll just wait for beat to run out when you use it. So generally, the Sigma ult is what you're going to be using beat for. Bomb, your team should be able to get around a corner, so bomb doesn't matter. But Sigma ult's the one that you need to be stopping with beat. So we'll see what happens here. So we saw the Lucio go up here, so we're chasing him down. Okay. I'd like to not see this stay for too long, but it looks like your team is still killing them because they have a lever. Yeah, generally, like, this fight wouldn't be good if they had 6. Mainly because, like look where their team's at, right? They're already pushing back to point here, and you're up here fighting Lucio. Like, what does fighting this Lucio do, right? Lucio versus Lucio is one of the worst 1v1s to ever watch, right? It's very hard for one or the other to kill each other just because of amp. And not even that, but it's also your awareness is lower, right, while you're facing him. Because your team could be dying over here, but you're focused on killing this Lucio instead of helping out your team, which as a healer, it's more of your job to help your team than to go for kills, right? Unless you're playing like Zen or something. But even then you're going for you're helping your team in some way. Plus their Junker walks up on you. Okay, so he got killed out of Sigma, so beat doesn't matter. Beat because of Junkrat ult, that's fine because the Sigma ult was cancelled. Okay, you got stuck, that's kind of unlucky. It looks like your team's still gonna win. Gonna skip through some stuff. Yeah, just similar stuff. Yeah. What I do like to see though is you're not getting too tunnel visioned on doing one thing or another. You're like when you realize that you've kind of overstepped your boundaries, you'll back off, you don't stick around, which is good to see. But a lot of times, like just making sure you don't take those weird fights in the first place will kind of stop them from happening. They still have 5, huh? Interesting. Alright. So before we even start, let's look at their team comp. Oh, we'll wait till it's 15 seconds. Okay. Like right there, you're ahead of your team. Like you don't need to be, right? You can be punished here again. If their team is better, you get punished for this. Right? You pushed in ahead of your tanks. There's a Reaper here and there's a D.Va here, right? You have no idea what their team, because the point hasn't unlocked yet, right? So you don't know what their team comp is. You don't know what they have. They could have a McCree. They could have obviously they have a Pharah. Like they could have any amount of things to punish you, but you just go hyper aggressive into this D.Va. Obviously your monkey push-ups, so it doesn't matter. But like I said, this is another thing that like a lot of low rank players don't understand really, is like they don't you don't realize when you're doing something bad because you're not punished for it, right? You didn't get punished here, so you don't know that this was bad. Right. Okay. This is fine. Going for kills here. Just staying alive. Now, obviously, like I only have one VOD, right? So I can't tell you if this happens all the time because I'm not watching you play all the time. But generally, it's a thing that you've done like several times within one map, right? So I can tell you that that's happening every single, that's probably going to be happening a lot, right? And if you're dying more because you're overextending, your team's going to be fighting a lot of 5v6, and it's 5v6s, and it's going to make your team fights a lot harder when you just die early on, like you did in the first map. Like I said, they still have 5, so this game doesn't really matter because you're probably just going to win regardless, no matter what you do. And even if you go AFK, you could probably win this. So yeah. Okay, once again, overextending. You have no business being out here, right? This is a Reaper and your tanks are on point. Right? There's a Reaper, Ana can sleep you, nade you, D.Va can defense matrix you so you don't get any heals. Like, there's a ton of things that can happen here and you're not getting punished for it. So you end up just getting away. Yeah, the D.Va, you go down to like 20 health. Their D.Va almost kills you. If the Reaper shot at you once, you would have died. Right? And that would have made it winnable for them, making it a 5v5. Especially because your Moira died as well. You have beat. Mechanics are pretty solid, like I said, like you're charging beat pretty quickly. Because you're hitting so many shots. But at the same time, just overextending looks like it's going to be a killer for you. Okay, again, overextending. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but running into a Reaper, a Sigma, and a D.Va like that isn't always going to work out like it did here. So, if the Pharah's behind. Alright, and we kill her. That's fine. Just kind of wall riding around, don't really know what's going on. Yeah, what if I take, like, I sound like a broken record at this point. Like, yeah, you can't be running face first into a Sigma. Like, we see their Divas shooting here, so we know that they're right there, right? So there's no real reason to push into this, right? So like we walk up, yeah, and we see the Divas shooting. So we know that at least one of them is right here, probably more since they regrouped. And just kind of walking at them will end up in you dead more times than, more often than not. Team kills the Reaper behind. The Ampeels. Probably didn't need the Ampeel. You probably could have just... Yeah. When you have a Moira like this, when you have a Moira, she's going to be taking care of your team with heals. So there's no real reason to just kind of randomly amp heals like this. Yeah, right here. Your team's all full health. You know, why? There's no need to amp heals. Stay on heal for a bit to heal yourself. And then once you realize, okay, we killed the Pharah, we killed the Reaper, turn on speed and amp that, right? Like why bother amping heals here? So we know there's Sigmas here, so we should be chasing them down with speed right now. But we're just kind of chilling point. So bomb coming through. Like I said, do not want to use bomb for that. Fair barrages, good beat. Off the map. Oh, not quite. Right. Kill under the Diva. Now we're just gonna be cleaning up here. It looks like. Just kill Liana. I'd like to. Another thing I'd like to see. I don't know if you've ever watched any gameplay. Usually an easy target in my rank, so yeah. Yeah, keep in mind though that like not everything that you do at your rank is transferable to other ranks, right? Because obviously like a Diva just chilling there may be easy ult charge for you, but like, you know, you want to climb, so like you can't, like things you get away with now will end up making you lose SR later on. Looks like it just gonna. This looks like just a weird game. They had 5 people here, so not a whole lot that they could have done anyway. So like I said, this is like I said, this is just a major game where it's like a ton of mistakes were made, but like you still won the game, right? So it's like, oh, why don't we need to change anything, right? So yeah, good discipline, not beating for the bomb. Beat usually doesn't counter bomb. You have to literally hit the beat right as bomb explodes for it to stop anything. So yeah, overall not too bad. Like I said, your mechanics are pretty solid. Like the wall riding by itself is good. Yeah, the wall riding itself is very solid, and your aim as well is pretty solid. Like definitely a higher level than you're at. So it looks like we just kind of have to get the feeding a bit under control here. If you would plan on improving from here. So yeah, generally just need to focus on not overextending like that. Like usually you should be peeling for your other support or speed boosting your tanks around, right? Like this Junkrat fight here, he can one-tap you. Like I understand you kill him here. Yeah, or no, you Kree-kills him. But you know, if that Junkrat's better, he kills you there, and that's another death. I think you had 4 deaths in this round alone, in this first round. This was mainly just going to be getting this overextending under control. And I know it's a less boring, it's a more boring style of play, to play safer and not go for kills in their backline. But like I said, if you want to be winning games, you generally have to be focusing more on keeping your team up, speeding them around, and being a secondary helper to them. It's like this again, like this isn't really needed, right? It's a Lucio, you're not going to kill him very quickly. you know, while your team is fighting. So that's pretty much all I have to say, I think. Is more or less just like, yeah, just the overextending issues, right? Just, you know, keep them in check, you know, until you know, learn your limits, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. You know, learn when to go aggressive, when to not, when to go for a kill, when to not, right? So biggest thing I can say though is learn from your mistakes, right? Like, okay, my tanks aren't here and they're all full health, right? Here, let me find, I think it was at the beginning. At the beginning of the round here. Yeah, it was right here. Okay. So it's like, okay, they have a Drunkard, a Sigma, and an Ana, right? And my tanks aren't with me, right? I probably shouldn't challenge this, right? This is like the thoughts that should be in your head, right? Especially Drunkard, because he can one shot you when he's full health. Like, you both see each other. Like, yeah, no real reason to be taking this. So, yeah, learn your limits. As a character, Lucio has the ability to go frag and go, you know, do a ton of damage into the backline onto a backline character, but you have to find your opportunities to do it. You can't just kind of, you know, leave your team behind, say, I'm going to go get a kill in their backline now. That has helped some people play, but, you know, it doesn't always work out, and it's not always done, right? So, yeah, a lot of preventable deaths in this VOD alone. Just by, you know, sticking with your team and understanding your limits as a character. So, as well as the working on that's one thing you can practice though. Like, I know it's hard to practice what I'm saying with knowing your limits, other than just playing the game, right? But one thing you can individually practice is, you know, being able to wall ride and shoot at the same time. Kind of keep track of everyone. If you don't have it already, make sure that you have backwards wall riding on. It's where is it? Okay, here it is. It's this setting right here. Allow backwards wall ride. Make sure this is on. It'll make wall riding 10 times easier if you don't have it on. But other than that, you know, overextending, getting good at wall riding, and shooting at the same time while keeping track of people. That's going to be the big first steps for you to take to improve as a player, especially that not overextending part, right? Because like the biggest tips, like a lot of coaches will say, it's like, okay, how do I climb, right? As a healer, the biggest things a lot of coaches will tell you is don't die, right? And it seems like kind of redundant to just say don't die, lol, you know, but it is honestly a very good thing to say, right? Because a lot of lower level players will end up dying a lot because of poor positioning and overextending, right? So make sure you're consciously thinking to yourself, okay, should I take this battle? Should I overextend here? Should I push aggressively? Should I do this and that, right? So yeah, make sure you're constantly thinking about that to yourself, you know, and keeping yourself in check so you don't end up doing that. So yeah, I think that's all I got for you then. At least from this VOD. Obviously, like, that was, you know, all I could really see from this game. You know, it may be different when, you know, they have a full 6 for the entire game, but, you know, kind of unfortunate for them. But like I said, there's still stuff to take away from it. Even if it's a game that you handily won, there's still tough stuff you can always take away from it. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Yeah, good luck in climbing.